Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So as you can tell from the title, today's pick a card reading is for those of you who are in a minimal contact situation or even a no contact situation with a person of interest. And this can be any person who is on your mind, any type of connection. Basically, we are going to look at the energies of this connection, see what is going on their end, how they're currently feeling, and get to the bottom of what has shifted in this dynamic. Why have things turned out this way? And we will get you some advice. And I'm hoping that this reading can bring you guys clarity or bring you closure if that is something that you need. So there are 3 groups for you to choose from today. For your reading selection, I'm going to be showing you each of these crystals up close one by one. And there's also an oracle deck that I'm going to be using later on in the reading that has different images on the back of the card. And each group, you guys happen to get a different image. So I'm also going to show you the image from this oracle deck that you got. So you could be drawn to the crystal or the image. But without further ado, let's give you a close-up look at each of your options. Group number 1, I cannot remember what this is, although it does look a little bit like snowflake obsidian. Please let me know if you know what this is. And here is your image. Group number 2, you have yellow mica. And here is your image. And group number 3, you have clear quartz. And here is your image. Okay, so just in case you need a bit more time to pick, these are all of your options laid out side by side so that you can compare them and see which one is calling to you the most. As always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose this heart, which like I mentioned in the intro, I think could be snowflake obsidian, but I'm not 100% sure. Please let me know if you know what this is. This is going to be your reading all about your minimal or no contact situation. So here is the full breakdown of the reading today. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. On YouTube, we are going to start with an energy check to make sure that this is your group. And to do that, we're going to take a look at what this connection was like before contact slowed down or before you went no contact. What was your dynamic like? What were your feelings like and what were their feelings like? And then we will move on into the tarot and we're going to see what is going on with your person right now. Like what is going on in their life? What are they going through right now? What are their current feelings towards you and towards the connection? And why have they gone no contact? What has changed? And we're also going to see what would they say to you if they were being completely honest and no filter. And then we will finish off with some advice from your spirit guides. Then in the extended reading, we're going to see how do their guides view this situation? What would they say about this minimal or no contact situation? We're going to see if you reached out to your person right now, how would they react or how would they respond to you? And then we're going to see, will your person initiate contact with you in the future? If yes, when will that be? If no, what is next then for this connection? Or what is next for you in general? So that is the reading that we have today. And without further ado, let's get into it. This card in the middle, this is actually a tarot card, and this is going to represent what your connection was like with this person before going no contact. I will be taking reversals for this deck because it's one of those decks that has keywords for either orientation, and I want to use that feature of this deck. I also want to mention that on these cards, they do include an answer to a yes or no question. So if you would like to think of a yes or no question that you want answered, you can take time to do that now. I will give you a few seconds to think of a question. Feel free to pause the video if you need a bit more time. And let's take a look at what your card is. So for my group number ones, you have the Ace of Swords in the upright position. The main keyword of this card is clarity. We have an association with the crown chakra. We have an association with air signs, which is Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And for the answer to your yes or no question, we have yes. More keywords, new ideas, new plans, intelligence, victory, success, mental clarity, clear thoughts, breakthrough, focus, communication, realizing the truth, vision, power, it says focus twice, and a stimulating person. Wow, so we have a lot here. And group number ones, if you chose this group, I could understand why you would be confused about this minimal to no contact situation, because it does seem like there was a period where you talked very frequently with this person. The sword suit in general talks about communication, but with the Ace of Swords here, there is this feeling of fast, frequent, and direct communication between the two of you. It seems like you had really great conversations, that you had a very good intellectual compatibility with each other, that your conversations stimulated and interested each other. You probably like taught each other new facts. You were maybe interested in the same topic, so you could have like at length discussions, sharing your knowledge and sharing your insight. And I think that you genuinely found each other fascinating, and likely had a similar sense of humor as well. I can't remember if I already said that. So I do think that the air element that this card is associated with is mostly speaking to your intellectual compatibility. However, it could be a confirmation for some of you if you or the person on your mind is an air sign. So if you or your person are a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, then you can also take that as a confirmation that this is your group. I also think with this card, this could be a sign that you and this person did discuss future plans together, whether that was having conversations about your own individual plans and offering each other advice and support and encouragement, or perhaps you were even discussing things that you wanted to do together moving forward and getting excited about that. With this card being a number one, I do feel like the nature of your exchanges were enthusiastic. I think it was probably pretty even in terms of when, like how many, what am I trying to say? How often you would initiate conversations versus how often they would. Like that exchange seems to be quite even. Like both of you were equally enthusiastic and excited about talking to each other. Seems like you were on the same page about most things and we're vibing together really well. I also think with this number one, it could be an indication that before going no contact, you were still in the early stages of your connection, or you felt that there was still a long way to go in terms of your potential and how much you could grow together. It's kind of sad when I sit with this energy thinking that you are in minimal or no contact now, because I feel like there was so much promise for the future and like you were genuinely excited for the future and like how this connection would develop. And I think with this number one as well, it could also be a sign of, you know, number one being the first, number one being unprecedented. It could have been one of those situations of, wow, I've never clicked with someone like this before. This is the first time for me. I've never felt this way before about somebody else. And with the crown chakra as well, there's probably a lot of instances where you would, for example, like finish each other's sentences or just know what the other person wanted to say. Just know what they were feeling. This could also be indicative of a psychic connection that you share with this person. You've perhaps been dreaming about them or receiving telepathic communications from them. I would also associate this card with the heart chakra because it is an air element card. So it's like you were really in sync with each other. You were really in tune with each other, knowing how the other was feeling and building that kind of emotional, personal bond. it's kind of like you had that intellectual connection of having a lot in common and giving each other advice and exchanging knowledge, but you also had this emotional connection that was budding. So that's what I'm seeing for the nature of your connection. Maybe by now you've figured out whether this is your group, but now we're going to take a look at both of your energies individually. So these oracle cards are going to represent your energy. These are going to represent your person's energy. If you listen to these descriptions and you find that they're opposite, like this sounds more like them and this sounds more like you, that is totally fine. You are welcome to switch the energies. You may even resonate with both sides, and that's a strong sign that you and your person are mirroring each other. However, if you don't see yourself on either side, then this might not be your group. So for your energy, we have the illusion with the number 13. And we have someone new. And for your person's energy, we have nourishment while waiting with the number 5. And we have fantasy versus reality. Okay. I do think there's mirroring going on in this group just from the similarities that you have in your cards. First of all, you have illusion and they have fantasy versus reality. Those are kind of similar messages. And also the imagery on your cards, this shark looks like it's going to be attacked by this spear, and this mouse is probably going to be eaten by this falcon or whatever this is. So there's a feeling of a little bit of danger, or perceived danger, I should say. Looking at your side, I want to start by addressing this illusion card and the number 13. The number 13 corresponds to the death card in tarot, which, as you can probably guess, talks about endings. And I feel like when you were with this person, when you were talking to this person, you do feel so comfortable and so natural, but all the while, your brain is like warning you, don't get too comfortable. With the number 13 representing death and endings, you may have been in this mindset of, I shouldn't get too comfortable with this person because you never know when things could end. And I don't know if that's specifically has to do with this person. It could be for some of you. Like, for example, if you knew that, oh, this person is going to move at the end of the year, so I shouldn't get too attached, or I shouldn't get too comfortable with the way things are now, or like they're going to start a new job soon, they're going to start a new academic journey soon, and then they're not going to have time for me. It could have been something specific to this person that was making you think like, oh, this is going to end someday anyways. But I feel like for many of you, it could also just be a general worry that you have. Like, you never know when people are going to leave you. You never know when people are going to disappoint you, when people are going to switch up on you. And so it's just kind of this general reservation that you have of, even if things seem to be going really well, even if in my heart I feel super comfortable around this person, I'm just not going to get too comfortable. And so that's kind of the feeling, like with this shark in your brain and with the spear, it's like, I'm never safe. Or like, it's never safe out here, like when you're in relationships with people. With someone new, I think that this is definitely confirming that like unprecedented energy of this connection. Like, this is the first person to make you feel this way. This is the first person to make you feel so strongly, or to connect with you intellectually on such a deep level, or to really get you. There may be something that, like a belief you have, or something you've tried to explain to other people in your life, and they're like, they just don't get it. But then when you explain it to this person, they're like, oh my God, I feel the exact same way. That's exactly how my brain is, or that's exactly how I see the world too, or like I do that same pattern with people. And it's like the first person to mirror something that you maybe thought was unrelatable about you, or was just like a weird habit that nobody could understand, or like a way of seeing the world that was just too odd. And they're the first person to really get it and make you feel like you're not weird for experiencing life this way. Also, with someone new in the illusion, there could be some of you where you're like, I know that we haven't met before. I know that you are a new person in my life, but I can't help but not feel that way. It feels like I've known you for a long time. And actually, oh my gosh, like with the death card, or like the number 13 here, that can talk about the cycle of life, you know, like incarnation and then death and then reincarnation. So some of you could feel like, especially if you have a psychic connection to this person, you could feel a past life connection with them. So it's like, I know that technically in this lifetime they are someone new, but that's an illusion of this life because they're not really someone new. Like you feel a familiarity with them that goes back much farther. Another way I can interpret this, which really does make me feel for this group, is that it's like there's a part of you that thinks you should keep your options open to other people as a way to protect yourself, even though deep down in your heart, that's not what you want to do. And actually, the example that's coming to my mind for this is like in the context of a job, interestingly, where maybe you have been corresponding with someone at your dream job. Like you've been emailing them and it seems really promising that you're going to get hired there, and like you're getting really excited about it, but you're like, wait, let me not get my hopes up too much, and let me keep applying for other jobs just in case this falls through. So there's that part of you that is like calculating the risk and is like, let me keep other doors open, even though in your heart you're like, I don't want any other job except for this. This one is my dream job. Like I don't want to keep my options open. I don't want to look for other ones. So of course that same energy can be applied to a personal relationship, but I feel like that was just an easy example that came to my mind, you know, like, oh, if things aren't working out with this person, maybe I should be open to meeting new people. And that's like your logical brain talking, but in your heart, you're like, I don't want to do that. I want this one. Like the number one could also be, you know, this person is my first choice. This person is my number one. And I feel like you were talking a lot with this person before going no contact. I'm imagining, you know, like when you're looking at your chats in iMessage or in WhatsApp or whatever, in your DMs, and it's always like the same person or the same few people at the top, because that's the people you're always talking to. And I feel like before going no contact, this person was either like always at the top for you, or they were like near the top. So whenever you opened your chats, you would always like see their name there and see your last interactions there. Also, I'm just noticing like you have a brain on your side and they have a heart on their side. So maybe you were like acting in this connection more from like being in your head, and they were more like in their heart or in their emotions. But I think that your person also had this mentality of not wanting to get too comfortable or not wanting to get too attached, but it feels like in their case, it feels like it's coming less from a place of fear and anxiety, like a fear of what if this person is going to leave me. And it kind of feels more practical or more grounded. It's like they might recognize, yeah, with the number 5, like 5, it can go either way. It's unpredictable. They might just have this feeling of, yeah, like life is unpredictable sometimes, and this might work out and this might not work out. But I feel like that's not something that makes them afraid or upset. They kind of perceive it more as like, this is just a truth of life that I've accepted, you know? And like, if it doesn't work out with you, I'm not gonna have any hard feelings, and I'm gonna respect the outcome. It's like they've made peace with however it happens, where I feel like maybe on your end, it's more like a fear of things not working out, if that makes sense. And so if things weren't advancing to the next level between the two of you, I feel like they were taking more of a stance of like, I'm just going to stay in my lane and keep working on myself and keep caring for myself. And if one day things progress, that's awesome. And if they don't, that's also okay. And I feel like for them, this just feels like, they don't feel like they're being pessimistic. They would feel like they are just being realistic. And at least this is their subjective opinion of it. But I feel like on both sides, there's this sense of, we still have more, there's still more progress to be made in this connection. There's still more potential. And both of you are kind of like waiting. But I feel like the waiting made you more anxious than it did them, maybe. Because this really looks scary, and this one kind of looks like they're just vibing, I guess. Yeah. But I think deep down there is a part of them that is like, I don't want to be... Like, when they say this might not work out, they feel like they're being realistic. But when they say this is going to work out, they feel like they're being delusional, which is interesting. They're like, I don't want to assume that it's going to work out. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. So this is what I'm seeing for your energies. I know we spent a lot of time like speaking about your side, but we're going to get into the tarot now and see more about them. So let's see what is going on for them right now. One thing I will say about this person is that it does seem like they're the type of person who, if you were really obviously showing interest in them, they would be the type to downplay it as like, oh, they're just being nice. Oh, they're not flirting with me. They're probably just nice. They're probably just like that with everyone. I feel like it takes a lot for them to accept that they are like special, or they are being chosen, or that someone is interested in them, or that something good is gonna happen. It almost feels like, I don't know if they're like numb in some way or closed off to, like, I don't know how to describe it. Let me just keep going. It's like the fact that you are feeling this fear and anxiety, it means that you haven't cut yourself off from it. It means that you aren't turning a blind eye to it. Whereas they just might be more closed off to how they're really feeling. Okay, let's see. What is going on with this person? We have... These fell out like instantly. We have the Fool and we have the King of Cups. And I'm wondering if I should keep this in reverse, because we did keep that Well, I mean, it came out in the upright, but if it was in reverse, we would have kept it that way. How are they currently feeling about you and about the connection overall? We have 2 coming out at the same time again. We have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, and we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay. And why have they gone no contact with you? Did something change on their end? And if so, what changed? I'm going to take that this way. It's the 3 of Cups in the upright. And then 2 at the same time again. Okay. And what would they say to you if they were being completely honest and no filter? We have the Queen of Cups. So we have the King and the Queen coming out. And then we have the 7 of Swords. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Wands in reverse. So I'm going to take the bottom of the deck energy as kind of like the all-encompassing energy. And this card is giving the feeling of they didn't maintain, like they didn't work to maintain this connection, or they didn't fight for this connection, because this is a card that talks about like defending yourself, or defending what is important to you, or protecting what matters to you, like going to battle for that. And I often also see it as like maintenance, because it's like you have to keep up the work, you have to keep defending it. So like, for example, if you had an accomplishment and then you achieved a really high status, you're gonna have to keep working hard to maintain that status and to maintain that reputation. It's not something like, oh, you get it once and that's it. And it's, I hope that makes sense. And then Mercury's in retrograde while I'm filming this right now. So yeah, so in the reverse, like it does give me the feeling of it became more difficult for them to keep communicating with you at the same frequency as they did before. And they just kind of like gave in to the circumstances, if that makes sense. So for example, maybe when you first started talking, they had relatively less responsibilities or less on their plate, but then things got busy for them, or things got hectic for them. And that's kind of life, isn't it? Like when things get a little hectic, or when things get busy, it takes more planning and more effort to maintain stuff. And that includes your relationships. And I feel like when it became more difficult for them to keep it up, they didn't really fight to maintain the connection. They were just like, oh, I guess I'm busy now. It's simply like they didn't make an effort. And maybe it's like they got too comfortable. Maybe they don't really appreciate that relationships take work. Maybe it's a bit of a self-sabotaging thing, but it is like, it's a lack of maintenance. And I don't think it's that the way they feel about you has changed at all. That's the thing. It's just like, it's like if someone, this is such a weird example, but it's like if someone was walking down the street and then a person like ran up and stole their purse and ran away, and they're just like, oh no, my purse. Like, go run after it, the fuck? Like, that's what I'm thinking reading their energy. Like they're the person who's just like, oh no, my purse. Oh well, I guess it's gone now. Like that's kind of the vibe. And I don't know if this is just like who they are as a person, or if there's like some wound. Again, it might be like a self-sabotaging thing, like, oh, I guess that relationship is not going to work out. Oh, I guess we're out of touch now because life happened. It's just like effort was not made to maintain. And maybe it's like a perfectionism thing that's also coming to mind. Like if you guys were texting really, really frequently, maybe they feel that if I can't maintain that same level, then they like won't even try. Or, oh, it's already been so long since I responded and now I feel awkward. Like they could be kind of getting in their head like that too. But yeah, that's the vibe with this card. So in terms of what is going on with them right now, we do have the Fool. So what I will say is that if life is picking up for them, it is probably for positive things. I don't get the sense that they are like going through something tough or going through drama. The Fool often talks about like exciting new beginnings and new opportunities. So probably something has picked up for them, like in their work or in their academic endeavors, in their creative endeavors. Maybe they've just gone through like a big exciting transition in their life and they're adjusting to that. Like things are good for them. It's not like some shit hit the fan in their life. So it is good to see this Fool card. What I will say with the King of Cups in reverse is that this is probably something that they have been working towards and hoping for a long time, but maybe it's not. And I do think that it is a positive thing in their life, but I'm seeing that it's not really fulfilling them in the way that they thought, because external things were not going to fulfill them in the first place. And they maybe put a lot of their future happiness into this endeavor working out and thought, like, for example, once my business becomes successful, then I'll be happy. Once I get accepted to this school, then I'll be happy. Once I move out of this town, then I'll be happy. And so like putting all of that in their external circumstances, and when they do get that thing that they've been wanting and they don't feel any different on the inside, they're kind of like, wait, what? Like, what is going on? I do think that if they are able to work on themselves internally and realize that their emotional fulfillment is going to come from within and from their relationship with themselves, then they will genuinely be able to enjoy these new changes that have come into their life. I don't think this is a case of them manifesting things that aren't really good for them. I actually think the transition that they've gone through is something that will be really positive for them. It's just that when it comes to truly appreciating it and truly enjoying it at this time, they're not quite there yet because something is missing internally. And I definitely think right now they're in a period of like adjusting to their new life, adjusting to their new surroundings, and maybe feeling a little bit out of sorts, like not really feeling themselves. It kind of seems like they haven't been sleeping a lot and maybe haven't had a lot of time for like leisurely things. And I would not be surprised if there's other people who have been left confused like you, who haven't heard from them. Like there could be some of this person's friends who are like, what's going on? I think this person just maybe isn't great at maintaining relationships, or like doesn't realize how much time has gone by. Like they'll think like, oh, I haven't spoken to so-and-so in like a week. And then they look at the date and it was like a month ago. I think it's just something in their personality, and it doesn't feel personal. Like I don't think something happened with you. I'm really not picking up on that at all. But at the same time, it's not nice to have a connection and feel like the other person is not maintaining. So I'm not trying to like make excuses for them or anything like that. But moving on, in terms of how they're feeling about you, I think they definitely feel like the connection has fizzled out. Like, that's the Ace of Wands in reverse. You know, at the beginning of this reading, we spoke a lot about how exciting this connection was at first, how you had great conversations and shared knowledge and taught each other stuff and inspired each other and made each other laugh, and it was just so much fun, and there was like passion there, and there was stimulation there. And at this time, they are feeling like that has died out. I'm wondering if many of you who chose this group are in minimal contact, because the image that just came to my mind is like you having kind of short exchanges, and you're both trying to pretend like the dynamic is the same, but it's just not. You know, you might send each other a meme like you did before, or talk about an inside joke like you did before, or talk to each other in that same friendly or cute tone like you did before, but energetically it just doesn't feel the same. And I feel like they are recognizing that as well, and they do feel like you have drifted apart. The Ace of Wands in reverse could also be an indication that in some ways they have lost interest, like that initial spark is gone, or they might feel like you have lost interest, but they do feel like that spark is not there anymore. And there may be a certain, like a lightheartedness that they're searching for in your dynamic that they can't find anymore, or like a brightness or a passion that they just don't really feel there anymore. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, which again, similarly to the Seven of Wands in reverse, it is indicating a lack of effort and a lack of consistency. Like the spark, and again, it's like that analogy of the stolen purse. It's like, oh no, the flame is getting smaller. Okay, like put some kindling. And I'm like, it's kind of a passive energy that they're in. Like they see the spark dying, they see you drifting apart, and their reaction is like, oh well, I guess life just happens like that, rather than stepping in and putting some kindling on the flame, or running after the purse, like trying to build back that connection with you and reignite that spark. Like the spark is not just something that either it happens to you or it doesn't. You can create it. You can create it and you can maintain it. And, you know, being in that close kind of relationship with someone, it's something that you choose every day, and it's something that you work on every day. And even if things are getting busier for you, like I'm sure you would understand if they were like, hey, I'm not going to be able to talk as much because I have this and this going on, but I still really care about you, and I still want to do X, Y, and Z with you, and I still want this for the future. And I feel like there has just been a lack of action and a lack of initiative and a lack of taking charge. It is just a passive energy that this person is in. It's just like give us nothing, I guess. Anyway, so then moving on to why they have gone no contact or what has changed, we do have the Three of Cups. So there's a couple different ways to interpret this energy. One could be that it could be that from the start, this person was not as serious as you were, because there is kind of this feeling of like fun and lightheartedness. It can talk about friendship as well. So, like, for example, if this was a romantic connection, it could be that you wanted something more serious and they weren't quite there yet. Like, they were still feeling like it was more casual, lighthearted, fun, friendly. It could also be, you know, some people have different definitions of friendship, you know, like for some people saying like that person is my friend, it's like a really serious thing. Like they won't call just anyone their friend, whereas other people will just be like, oh, my friend this person and my friend that person, and it's more of like a light thing for them. Same thing with I love you. I find this a lot in my female friendships. Like, we're just throwing around I love you all the time, and sometimes I'm like, and I like you too. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of awkward for me, but this reading isn't about me. Everyone has a different like threshold, and even for the same labels, like we'll take things more seriously or less seriously. So I feel like in this case, you would be the person who says like, if I'm calling you my friend, like that's something really deep and special and meaningful for me. Whereas they might call you their friend, but like it's not that deep or serious for them. And that might also explain why, like for them, maybe like, oh yeah, I lost touch with my friend is like a whatever thing for them, because they weren't putting such value on that label of friendship to begin with, if that makes sense. Or like it's that feeling of it wasn't that serious for them. The other way to interpret this, the Three of Cups, we would often see like three people on this card. It could be a third party situation. It could be that they met someone else. It could be that they're like keeping options open. But there is this consistent energy of like not stepping up to hold on to something that is slipping away, and just being okay with it slipping away, or at least that's how they're acting. And then finally we have, what would they say to you if they were being honest? And this is an interesting message for me. They're saying, and maybe this is even a message kind of from their higher self or from some deeper part of them, because they're saying that you, group number one, you are who I would be if I was true to myself. Like, if they were a genuine person, if they were being true to themselves, they would have a similar personality to you. They would act similarly to you. They would react and respond to things similarly to you. Like, when they look at you, it's like, this is who I would be if I wasn't hiding, if I wasn't afraid, if I wasn't numb, like we spoke about in the beginning. There is like a numbing that is going on with this person. If I wasn't like emotionally closed off. And I think it's no surprise that these two coming out are the Suit of Cups, that has to do with like your heart and your soul and your emotions. So, and yeah, that's the fact that you're able to feel this fear and anxiety of what if things don't work out. It's because you don't cut yourself off from your emotions, and you allow yourself to care about this connection. You allow yourself to feel vulnerable. Even if your mind is saying like, don't get too comfortable, keep your options open, your heart is like, no, that's not what I want to do. And so, which is weird, because I felt like, at first I felt like you were more in your head and they were more in their heart, which is maybe how it appears on the surface. But the fact that you can even be in your head about this is like a sign that your heart is working. It's a sign that you care. And if they would open up to how they truly feel and who they truly are, I feel like they would outwardly be a lot more like you. Inwardly, I think they're a lot like you. And that's probably something you've picked up on. Like, you have similar souls. You connect with the crown chakra. You connect on a spiritual level. And, you know, the Seven of Swords, it is about, I don't think this is about deception in this case. I think it's inauthenticity on their end. That if they were being so for real with you, like, and themselves, if they were being honest, they would call that out in themselves. Wow, okay. So that makes more sense. I feel like throughout this whole reading, I was trying to figure out, like, why are they acting like this? Like, this doesn't make sense. And it's because there's some part of them that is just like emotionally closed off. And then that makes them act in ways that seem like passive and complacent and just like not caring. But if they reconnected with their emotions and with their heart and soul, they're saying that they would be a lot like you. And they would outwardly express themselves like you. So for the final part of this reading, we're going to take a look at these oracle cards for advice from your spirit guides. This is the image that you guys chose in the intro. We have surrender. What you can't control is teaching you how to let go. So I think whatever this person is going through internally, it does seem like they have some work to do. And I think that your spirit guides really want to remind you that this is their work to do and it's not your work to do. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to, like, especially if you have a psychic connection with this person, you can absolutely like keep them in your prayers, keep them in your heart when you're doing meditations. Like, even if you're doing energy work on yourself, you can keep them in your mind. But I think your spirit guides just want to say, like, don't take this on as your burden or your responsibility or your problem to solve, because it is something that they will grow from in their own time. And oh wow, I just heard something like, there's a reason you are in two separate bodies. Okay, so because you have a soul connection and you have like joint work that you can show up together for, but there's a reason you're in two bodies and there's a reason you're two humans, and it's because there's some work that you will do as your individual human self. And so I think there's some things that they just have to, or that it's in their best interest to work through individually, and that you shouldn't take on too much of that burden for them. We have hummingbird spirit, be here now. So this is definitely a call to enjoy the present moment without dwelling on the past or worrying too much about the future. Yep. And we have receiving. Every day it becomes easier to receive the highest divine plan and to trust my inner guidance. So these cards all are carrying very similar energies, like surrender, let go, just be here in the present. So that means letting go of concerns about how things are going to unfold and what the outcome has to be, and just living right here, right now. And with this receiving too, this is about surrendering to the divine plan. So there is a resounding, I'm hearing like there's unanimity between your spirit guides and your spiritual team that letting go and trusting will be the best option. Easier said than done. Just don't worry about it. Easier said than done, but this is their loving advice and this is the best advice that they can give you. So we are going to take this over to the extended reading now, where we are going to see what their guides, what your person's guides would have to say about this situation. we're gonna see if you were to reach out to your person right now, how would they react? How would they feel? How would they respond to you? Would they respond to you? Then we are going to see, will they initiate contact with you at some point in the future? Like if you don't do anything, will they initiate contact with you? If yes, when will that be? If no, then what? Then what is next for you? So if that sounds good to you and you would like to join me over in the extended, I'm going to have that link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below, and finally my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here. And I'm sending so much love to you, to your person, to anyone else who indirectly appeared in this reading. And I'm sending love to your higher selves, your spirit guides, your spiritual teams, to spirit itself, and to all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. Thank you so much once again. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number twos. So if you guys chose the yellow mica, this is going to be your reading all about your minimal contact or no contact situation. Here is the full breakdown of today's reading. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. And here on YouTube, we're going to start with an energy check to make sure that this is your group. And to do that, we are going to be seeing the energies of this connection before you went no contact. What was your connection like? What were your feelings like? What were your person's feelings like? Then we're going to get into the tarot and see what is currently going on with this person. What's going on in their life? What are they currently going through? We're going to see what their current feelings are for you, as well as the connection overall. Why have they gone no contact or minimal contact? Did something change? If so, what changed? And what would they say to you if they were being totally honest and no filter? And then we're going to finish off with some advice from your spirit guides regarding this whole situation. Then in the extended, we're going to see how their guides view this whole situation. And we're going to see if you were to reach out to your person right now, how would they react and how would they respond to you? If you didn't reach out to them, will they initiate contact with you? If so, when will that be? If not, then what is next for you? So that is the reading for today. Let's get into your energy check to see if this is your group. The first card that we're going to look at is a tarot card to represent the energy of what your connection was like before going minimal or no contact. I am leaving the tarot cards in reverse today, especially for this one. There are keywords on it depending on like how it comes out. There's different keywords, so I wanted to use that feature. And this card also has the answer to a yes or no question on it. So if there is a yes or no question that you would like to ask this card, feel free to do so. I'll give you guys a little bit of time to decide what you want the question to be. And if you need more time, feel free to pause the video. But now let's take a look at your card. So for my group number twos, you have the Empress in the upright position. This card has associations to the solar plexus chakra and to the planet of Venus, to the sign Taurus. Your answer to your yes or no question is yes. And then for the keywords, we have pregnancy, abundance, motherhood, sensuality, nurturing, creativity, beauty, femininity, nature, harmony, and art. And then we also have by connecting to the earth, the earth will teach you that abundance is infinite. Okay, so this is representing the nature of your connection before going minimal to no contact. As I'm holding up this card, there's 333 on the camera timer, and this card is also number 3. So that could be a significant number in your connection. If you see repeating 3s, that actually could be a sign from this person's higher self. But first of all, let's talk about the fact that this is a major arcana. This leads me to believe that whoever this person is, they were someone very significant in your life, or you felt that they had the potential to become someone very significant. It's also interesting that yellow is the color of this card. It's related to the solar plexus chakra, which is also yellow, and you guys were drawn to the yellow mica. That could also be a significant color, but it just feels very joyful. I feel like things were very happy, and honestly, there was a lot of love between the two of you, and maybe there still is a lot of love between the two of you. The solar plexus, it gives me this feeling of, I deserve to be here. I deserve to take up space. I matter. I am special. And so I feel like this is a connection where this person really made you feel special, nurtured, cared for, as we see from some of the keywords here. And it felt like you really mattered and that you were really worthy. Or this may have been something that you really wanted this person to feel. And there is love here. Like, that is the biggest thing with the Empress, such a loving being, with the planet of Venus. There were messages about Earth, grounding, the sign of Taurus. And this is making me emotional because I don't think that this is a connection that you would have expected to go no contact. The number 3 could even be speaking to like the 3D, that this connection seemed like something that was so grounded in your 3D reality, in your everyday experience, something that was consistent and stable and that you could count on, that it was really grounded and that you felt stable and secure in it. And yes, this feels like a very important person. This is giving the energy of a significant other, a best friend, could even be a family member, because we had those messages about pregnancy and motherhood. It could literally be a mother or a child, but I think more loosely this could be interpreted as a family member or someone who feels like family because they are just that close to you. I think that this is someone, when you were with them, you would be really present, you know? You wouldn't be thinking about other stuff. You wouldn't be on your devices. You would just be like in the moment with each other, enjoying each other's company. And for some reason, it's coming through that you would do wholesome things together or kind of cozy things together. So maybe you would go on walks together, or you would, you know, cook and eat food together. You maybe like did crafts or different activities, or you appreciated art together. It's like you would bond over a shared activity, and that would just make you present in the moment. And being together was like a time where you could kind of forget about the things that were stressing you out, because it was just such a grounding energy. It feels really happy. So let's take a look now at your individual cards. These are going to represent your energy and your feelings. These are going to represent your person's energy and their feelings. If listening to the description you feel like it's reversed and this is more like them and this is more like you, that is totally fine. You're welcome to switch the roles, or you may even find that you resonate with both sides. If you don't really resonate with either side, that is likely a sign that this is not your group. But hopefully by now you have an inkling of who this is, or if this reading is for you. So let's take a look at our oracle cards. Your energy is represented by You Are More with the number 30. And family, wow. Like we were just talking about. And it's interesting too, this looks like a baby with their parent. So For some of you, this very well could be a parent-child relationship, or a family member, or again, just someone whom you were very close to. A more broad interpretation of family would just be like someone that you felt a lot of loyalty to. And then on their side, we have service with the number 14. And love is a verb. Actions speak louder than words. Okay, I actually want to start with the energy on your person side. It's funny that we were just talking about loyalty with this family card, because when I see dogs, they make me think of loyalty. They are a symbol of like a loving and loyal companion. Also, the two cards on your person's end, they have quite a similar energy to them, because this card is making me think of acts of service as a love language, and then we have love is a verb, actions speak louder than words. So this is someone who really showed up or shows up for the people that they love. And when they care about you, they're going to back that with actions. This is someone who, I'm just speaking in the past tense because this is the energy of before you went no contact, although this could very well still be their personality, but I'll just keep using past tense. I do feel like this is someone who was reliable. You could always count on them to show up when they say they will, and they would likely go above and beyond and deliver more than what they promised. I feel like this is the type of person who's always, not like they're a worrier, but just always worrying if their loved ones are doing okay. Like, did you eat? Did you have enough? Are you feeling okay? Has someone told you how much you matter today? They just seem like a very loving person, and this is why I get emotional knowing that you're in minimal or no contact with this person, because looking at this energy and even what we were channeling from the Empress card, I don't really think that there was a time where you really questioned their love for you or worried that they would drift away or stop showing up. It feels like their presence in your life was quite consistent. Like they would consistently show up for you and show how much you mattered to them and how much the relationship mattered. This also seems like a very generous soul. I wonder with this planet Earth if maybe one of the reasons for less contact is that there's a physical distance between the two of you. I would be really surprised if this no contact situation is because of a lack of love or a lack of care for each other. So it could very well be, like, for example, I used to live in my mom's house, so we would see each other every day. And now I live on the other side of the world, and there's like a 13 or 14 hour time difference, depending if it's daylight savings or not. And so just naturally, you know, if you compare it to before, you could say that we are in minimal contact. So I would be really shocked if there was like a ghosting or a falling out that happened here, because it just seems like there's so much love and care and concern for each other, even on your side. Like both of you are showing loyalty to each other. And I would even say, like, if this person is not your biological family, like for some of you, I feel like, especially those of you, if you maybe don't have the best relationship with your biological family, this person could have been your chosen family. Because there's like, you are more, this person might have felt more important than like your blood family. It definitely feels like a very close relationship. And with this eagle flying in the sky, I think that I think this was mutual, like mutually reminding each other of how worthy you are and how far you can go and how high you can soar and how capable you are and how much you deserve out of this life. It feels like something that was mutually uplifting and mutually supportive. Wow. So I really want to get into the tarot because I'm curious about what has caused this. minimal or no contact situation. But yeah, I definitely think you would know, like, if this is your group. Oh, with the Three of Swords, that I'm not going to take this, but just making a note that this made itself visible. Another number 3 here actually as well. But that is a card about like sadness and heartbreak. So I feel like you definitely miss each other. Okay, for my group number 2s, what is currently going on with their person? What is going on in their person's life? Oh, right, we're keeping reversals. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. And how are they feeling about group number 2 and about the relationship overall? The High Priestess. Why is there minimal or no contact? What has changed in this connection? The Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And what would this person say to group number 2 if they were being completely honest? We have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. This group is making me emotional. This group is making me emotional. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have shadow work. Yes, I feel like that is quite fitting. So, yeah, this is just this person's personality. Like, acts of service is how they show love. And they are very committed, like, to helping others, to serving others, to being generous, to help people solve their problems. I think this person maybe derives a lot of their self-worth from being needed by others, or more specifically, like being useful to others, being helpful to others, being of service to others. And I really have to stress here that this is like a personal thing for them. Like it's something inward. It's not something that is, it's like, I don't want you to feel like you made them feel that way. Like, I only like you if you're useful to me. It's not something that you made them feel. I think it's just something that they feel internally. With shadow work here, it could definitely come from past wounds. Intuitively, what I feel is that this is either something that they learned from childhood, that like they have to be useful or of service to other people in order to be worthy, or this person could have dealt with someone who was very unreliable and that really hurt them. And so now they've become hypersensitive about like not wanting to perpetuate that cycle. I don't want to ever be unreliable to my loved ones because I know how much it sucks. I don't want to become like that person who did that to me. They could be kind of overcompensating for something that happened to them. But this is someone who I even feel like in their community, this might be someone who, for example, did a lot of volunteer work, who organized community events or fundraisers, or would always go above and beyond to make sure their neighbors had what they needed and, you know, offer help and not ask for things in return. And this feels like this is really, I'm sorry, I'm a broken record. I'm emotional. Because it's like they do it all with energy and enthusiasm, and they do it all with a smile on their face. And I feel like a lot of people maybe wouldn't think to even question if they're doing okay. It's like, oh, they always appear to have so much energy. I wouldn't think to check how they are, because they just always seem so bubbly and upbeat. You would never guess that they might be actually exhausted. They're always smiling. You would never think that maybe they're struggling through some darkness on the inside. I feel like people, maybe not you, but people in general might not think to check up on this person, because it just seems like they're holding it all together so well, and they're like a superhero in their community kind of thing. Or like they're the friend who always knows what to say. They always show up with the best advice, so you don't think that they could be struggling with their own stuff. That's kind of how they come across. And I think that they've kind of internalized this role of like, I need to be the rock. I need to be the glue that holds it all together. I need to hold myself together because people need me, and I have to give and give. Like, I feel like this person gives a lot. And the reason I think for this lesser contact is because they're going through some darkness right now. They might be, like, this came out in the reverse, but it could be that this person is going through some mental challenges or just going through a tough time. And they feel like they can't offer anything to you, which is sad, because I think that just them existing is enough. Just them being is enough. Just being able to be in their company, I'm sure would make you happy. But I feel like this is someone who, like, on a deep level, this could be subconscious. I think they've kind of built their self-worth around, like, this is an example, okay? Let's say that there's two friends, and one friend is like financially well off. So every time the friends meet up, the well-off friend like treats them to fancy dinner. And it's like, sure, the friend appreciates that, but what they're really there for is the bonding experience, is to, to enjoy the friend's company and to laugh together and to share stories together. And then let's say one day this well-off friend like loses their job, or their financial situation takes a hit, and they can't take their friend on these nice dates anymore. And so they stop inviting them out because they feel bad that, like, oh, I can't treat you anymore. They're not going to want to hang out with me. And it's in no way that the friend gave them the impression that that's all they care about. Like, that's what I have to keep stressing. Like, this is their own wound. Like, it's in no way implied or expressed by you. But they feel like, if I can't give you these nice things, you're not going to want to hang out with me. Whereas that friend would probably be like, are you crazy? We could literally go to McDonald's. Like, I don't care. I just want to hang out with you. We don't even have to go out. Like, we can go to the park and sit on a bench and hang out. I really don't care. Or like, another example of this would be like, if the friend is saying, oh, I just love you so much. You're always so cheerful. I just love how cheerful you are. It always lifts my spirits. So then when the cheerful person is now depressed, they're like, oh, but I don't want to bring them down. Like, they've come to be, and it makes sense. They get this positive reinforcement for showing up in a certain way. But now they feel like, well, you love me for when I'm cheerful. So now if I'm depressed, you're not going to want to hang out with me. I don't want to dump that on you. There's something like the version of them that people have come to know and love is just not, they don't have it in them to be that version anymore. And it's like they feel bad because they feel like they owe people that version of them. You know, the cheerful, chipper version, or the version who can show up and help people, who can serve people, who has money, whatever it is. Like, and I feel like this is something that this person receives a lot of praise for, and people obviously mean well, but then that reaffirms to them, like, this is who I have to be for people to need me around, or for people to want me around. And in this moment, I feel like they're vulnerable, and what they really need is, they just need to be on the receiving end of like love and care, and like, it's okay that you can't show up in the same way. Like, that's what I would want to say to this person. That's what I'm sure you would want to say to this person. You know, with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, I just saw 2424, by the way, on the camera timer. Usually this card makes me think of like, well, even when it's in the upright, sometimes it makes me think of like, I have an offering for you, but it's just something small. It's something humble, because the page is, you know, the smallest, so to speak, of the court cards. But in the reverse, it feels more like I'm depleted. Like I don't have something to offer you right now. But yes, you do. You have your presence. You have your soul. And I just, like, I wish that I could talk to this person so they could see that. Yeah, and with the Nine of Pentacles, like, this is what changed in the dynamic. So it could be something maybe has changed in their career, in their financial situation, or just in their overall sense of security and well-being. You know, this is, with the Nine of Pentacles in the upright, this is like, I'm independent, I'm doing my thing, I'm thriving. So they definitely don't feel like themselves right now. And I do feel like something has happened in their external circumstances, something that has kind of messed with their security. I think that deep down, and this is what's really beautiful, like the High Priestess, for how they feel about you in the connection. I think deep down in their heart and soul, they know that nothing could change the love and loyalty that you feel for each other. They know that deep down, no matter what version of them is showing up, you're gonna welcome them with open arms. Like, they know that deep bond exists between the two of you, which I'm happy to see this, and it just shows whatever they're going through right now, it's very, like, it's mental, it's very much in their head. And not that makes it any less real, but this truth is always there for them to come back to. This is not something that they have forgotten or something that they have rejected. I think your connection is really strong, and I almost want to say it can't be broken or it can't be taken away. And they know this at a deep level. I think their soul continues to whisper this to them, but it's just at this time, their mind is very loud and their mind is very wrong. Like, being loud and wrong is a deadly combination. I would like to think, you know, because this came out in the reverse, I would like to think that they're making their way out of this, with this representing anxiety and expecting the worst. Hopefully this reversal means that they are on their way out of it. Because this is such a beautiful soul, and they deserve to feel beautiful and loved and worthy just for existing. And it's sad, because I feel like the very nature of your connection is so much like built on that, you know, supporting each other and letting each other know how special you are and how worthy you are. But when you have this kind of mental blockage, sometimes it's kind of like talking to a wall. You know, if you, like, for example, if you have really bad, like, body image or something, it doesn't matter how many people tell you you're beautiful, it's just gonna fall on deaf ears, or your brain will tell you they're lying, they're just saying that. It can be really hard to get through to someone who's struggling in this way. So I really feel for this person, and both of you. You know what though? The bottom of the deck energy, this is the overarching energy. I just saw 28 as well. And so I do think this means they are working through it. This person has chosen to bravely dive into the shadows, and they're finding their way to the light at the end of the tunnel. So I do think they are working through these things. Okay, now let's take a look at these oracle cards to get some messages and advice from your spirit guides. This, which you may recognize from the intro, this was the image that you guys chose. And your card says, ooh, that's crazy. We just finished talking about like their soul knows the truth, but unfortunately their mind is very loud and wrong right now. And then this card says, I am not the mind, I am not the body, I am spirit. I am light, I fall to rise. Oof, like they're diving into the shadows and they will come out in the light. Yep, this is confirmation that they're working through it. I am not the mind, I am not the body, I am spirit, I am light, I fall to rise. Oh, I probably should have read it this way. I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm not the emotion, I'm not the thought, I'm spirit. Yes. Then we have flamingo spirit, embrace the in-between. So I feel like this is also a sign of where they're at. By the way, I just saw 3003, which is like a mirroring number. And there's the number 30 again. So 30 could be a relevant number for some of you. Like someone is age 30, or like the 30th could be an important date. Yeah, this is the in-between. You know, the healing journey, and most, if not all journeys that we go on in this life, are non-linear, and they're not black and white. It's not like you go to bed one night in a dark place and you wake up the next morning completely healed. I think they're kind of in that gray area right now where they have made some progress, but it still feels dark sometime. And I think this is good. This embrace the in-between, because it means that they're holding space right now for both like positive emotions and heavy emotions. They're holding space for light and dark right now, and not like rushing themselves to go towards the light, but really just embracing the process and where they're at. I feel like this person is doing an amazing job right now. And if you're mirroring this person, this could be your energy as well, or this could be guidance for you as well, because this part of the reading is advice for you too. And then we have grounded, which that's the energy of your connection, grounded. Many of the most evolved beings on earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. Again, I feel like this is a message from your guides that the bond that you have with this person, I really feel like it's too strong for something like this to break it. I don't even know if this bond can be broken. We have two little birdies on this card, which I do think is a positive sign when it comes to communication. I think that this is something just fell off my wall and it freaked me out. I think that this is a cow or some form of bovine creature, very cute. And that also relates to like the Taurus bull, which we had Taurus on the Empress card. So Taurus placements could be significant. Taurus season could also be significant. But also, this could be advice for you for grounding practices. And it's interesting. It says many of the most evolved beings on earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. And the regular is in like finger quotes. I don't know if this is necessarily advice for the connection specifically, or if it's just advice that your guides want to share with you at this time. But I think they're asking you to let go of like the archetype or even the stereotype, because it really is a stereotype of what a quote unquote spiritual person should look like, or what a quote unquote enlightened person should look like. I think that sometimes we don't allow ourselves the grace to be human because we might deem that a certain way of thinking is not like spiritual enough or something like that. And I think your guides are just reminding you at this time to give yourself permission to be human. Whether that's about like the emotions that you hold throughout a day, the thoughts that you have, your habits, like there's no right way to look spiritual or to appear spiritual. And you also don't have to be spiritual to be a good person, to be an enlightened person. You just have to do your best to be kind and get to know yourself and get to love yourself. And that's about it. And it doesn't have to be complicated. And I also want to say for some of you, like, you don't have to shame yourself. Like if your spiritual practice doesn't feel spiritual enough, like if you don't meditate for, I'm going to be really dramatic, but like if you don't meditate for 8 hours a day and eat like organic air, it's okay. Like, I guess just throw away the idea of like your spirituality has to look a certain way. All of those words just to say that one easy thing. Oh geez. Mercury's in retrograde right now. I'm sorry. So anyway, these are all of the messages that I have for you. We're going to take it over to the extended now, where we are going to see what their spirit guides think about this whole situation and if they have any insights or advice for you. We are going to see if you were to reach out to this person right now, how would they feel? How would they react? How would they respond to you? Would they respond to you? And we're also going to see if you didn't reach out, would they come forward and initiate contact with you? If so, when would that be? And if not, what is next for you? So if that sounds good to you and you would like to join me over in the extended, that's going to be linked down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, group number 2, and I'm sending so much love to you, so much love to your person, to both of you. I'm sending so much love to anyone else who indirectly appeared in this reading, to both of your higher selves, your spirit guides, your spiritual teams, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the clear quartz, this is going to be a reading all about your minimal contact or no contact situation. Here is the full breakdown of the reading that we're going to do today. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. On YouTube, we're going to start off with an energy check to make sure that this is your group. And to do that, we're going to be taking a look at what this connection was like before going no contact or minimal contact. So we'll see the energy of the connection overall, how you were feeling, and how this person was feeling. Then we're going to see what's going on with your person right now. What is happening in their life right now? What are they going through? We're going to see their current feelings towards you and the connection overall. Then we're going to see why they have gone no contact. Did something change with them? If so, what changed? And what would they say to you if they were being completely honest and no filter? And then we're going to finish off with advice from your spirit guides regarding this whole situation. Then in the extended reading, we are going to ask their spirit guides how they view this situation, if they have any insights or advice for you. Then we're going to see if you reached out to your person right now, how would they react? How would they respond? And if you don't reach out to them, will they come forward and initiate contact at some point in the future? If yes, when is that going to be? If no, then what is next for you? So that is the reading that we're going to be doing today. Let's get into your energy check to find out if this is your group. So we're going to start by taking a look at this tarot card. This is going to represent what your connection was like before it went minimal or no contact. I am taking reversals for the tarot cards today, especially for this one, because it has like different keywords on it depending on how it comes out, and I wanted to use that feature. Also, this deck, each card has a yes or no answer on it. So if there's a yes or no question that you would like to ask, feel free to ask that right now. I'll give you a bit of time to decide what you want your question to be. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time to think about it. And now let's take a look at your card. So my group number 3s, you have the 6 of Swords in the upright position. The main keyword of this card is transition. We have an association with the heart chakra, with the planet Mercury, and with the sign of Aquarius. So these could be confirmations for you, like if you or this person have Aquarius placements, but you don't have to. Aquarius season could also be relevant. And then the answer to your yes or no question is maybe. This could also be translated as probably. Let's say probably, because this card did come out in the upright. So your answer is probably. And then for other keywords, we have a calm sea, healing, progress, moving forward, advancement, things are settling down, the calm after the storm, overcoming difficulties, ease, stability. We also have escape, journey, travel, overseas travel, taking a rest, and feeling deflated. That one seems kind of like an outlier because a lot of these keywords are positive. So it does look like before you went minimal or no contact with this person, things were moving in a positive direction. We can literally see movement on the image of this card, and you can see that they're moving away from a turbulent situation into a peaceful situation. So before things went no contact with this person, you may have been really feeling like you were getting somewhere with them, like things are making good progress. We also have messages about like healing and moving forward. So you could have felt that within this connection, you were in the process of healing from or breaking a pattern that you had had in previous relationships, or even that you had with this person. I think that this is only for some of you, but you could have had kind of a turbulent relationship with this person in the past, and things finally seemed like they were starting to get better. Like you were finally starting to cultivate peace between the two of you, or like you were finally starting to see eye to eye, and it seemed like you would be able to reconcile or forgive each other, whatever it might be. For others of you, I think that maybe there was this thought of like, I'm finally in like a good, healthy connection. It seemed like you felt promise for the future, and that you were really starting to like this person, or you were really starting to have feelings for this person. With the heart chakra here, I feel like an emotional connection was really blossoming, or an emotional attachment. For example, even in the case that this is not a romantic connection, like even if this was a potential job, for example, and you had gone to a couple of interviews, this heart chakra energy could be like, I really started to like these people. It's kind of that vibe. I really felt like we were liking each other, like we were getting along. I really felt like things were moving in a positive direction. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is finally a job where I'm going to feel good, where I'm going to feel at peace, like no more of these toxic workplaces. So it's like that kind of vibe. There was a feeling of promise that you were moving away from a toxic energy or an energy of drama or a turbulent energy. And like you really felt like things were going to be good and peaceful in the future. With Mercury here, you may have been starting to talk about the future with this person in a positive way, like your worries were starting to dissolve. So with that, let's look at your individual energies now. So this is going to represent your energy before going no contact. This is going to represent your person's energy. If when you listen to the descriptions, it sounds like the energies are switched, like this actually sounds more like them, this sounds more like you, that's totally fine. You are very welcome to flip the energies. You may even find that you resonate with the descriptions on both sides, but if you don't see yourself in either side, that could be a sign that this is not your group. One other thing I want to mention, by the way, because this is a number 6, which makes me think of harmony, balance, reciprocity. Before going no contact, the energy between the two of you was likely quite balanced. Nothing about this feels one-sided, or like you're the one who's lifting most of the weight or they're the one who's lifting most of the weight. And if you did have any doubts about this connection, I feel like it likely came from the past, you know, like a worry of, I hope that this is not more BS like what I experienced in past relationships. I hope that things don't go south from here because it seems like things are going really well. It seems like there was really a feeling of like, this feels good, and I hope that this is the connection that breaks a cycle. Or I hope that me and this person are breaking a cycle that we've been in. Okay. Now let's look at the cards representing your energy. We have Face Your Fear with the number 38. And Be the Change. That makes a lot of sense with what we've been talking about. And then the cards representing your person's energy, we have Immense Growth and Be Spontaneous. Both of you have bee cards, and both of you have bird cards too. And both of the birds are looking away. But it seems like both of the birds are facing themselves. The fact that we have both of you coming through as birds, it could again be a sign that there was frequent and reciprocal communication between the two of you before going no contact, and that rather than being one-sided, it does seem equal between the two of you. Birds also makes me think of flying, and there is the message of travel in this card. I wonder if for some of you this was like a long distance situation. You could be long distance, and you could have been like, when you're talking about future plans, there could have been talks of one or both of you like traveling to see each other or relocating. It could also be that you come from different parts of the world, or you come from different cultural backgrounds. But starting over here on your side, we have Face Your Fear and Be the Change. And it's funny how it looks like this crow is looking into the mirror and saying, and oh my gosh, as I'm showing this 10-10 on the camera timer, which is like a new beginning and a clean slate, things moving in a different direction. Yeah, like I feel like that was what you really hoped this connection could be, or what you felt that this connection was a catalyst for in your life. Because there's this realization that I think you were having where you said to yourself, if I want to face my fear, I have to face myself, and I have to take initiative. So if there was a fear that you had within a connection. Maybe you had like a fear of abandonment or a fear of rejection, or maybe you had trust issues or something like that. I think you were really taking an active role to facilitate that healing, to contribute to that healing. So rather than waiting around for the world to show you evidence against your fears, you were putting yourself out there. I feel like in order to overcome your fear, you wanted to believe that like healthy connections are out there, that real love is out there. And you were definitely not taking a passive role of like, okay, universe, show me that love is real. Show me that there's good people out there. I think that you were taking the initiative to go out and to allow yourself to catch feelings, or allow yourself to get your hopes up about a relationship, allow yourself to be vulnerable, open up to someone, offer your heart to someone. You were like, let me be, I don't really know what the English word is, but like, let me take an active role, I guess. Let me take an active role in facing this fear rather than just waiting for life to prove my fears wrong. You were like, I gotta be the change I want to see in the world. And maybe you were also taking a look at yourself in the sense of, if I want people to be their true self around me, then I have to be my true self around them. If I want people to be vulnerable with me, then I have to be vulnerable with them. It's like you were in this role of looking at yourself first. And in that way, I think that this connection was a catalyst for you being introspective, for you doing inner work and thinking about not just what you wanted out of life, but the type of person whom you wanted to become. What version of me do I want to become in order to facilitate bringing in the things that I am manifesting? You were really in this mindset of the change starts with me. You were really working on yourself. And I think that this connection is something that facilitated that, or that was like a trigger for that. This connection could have also been like a trigger for your spiritual journey. Over here, on their side, we also have immense growth. So it's quite a similar message. I feel like this connection was a catalyst for both of you to heal and grow. And maybe more so for them, because they have the word immense and that's pretty big. And even this imagery is showing like exponential growth. So you definitely set off a chain reaction for this person to experience immense healing and immense growth. And even with their card being the number 15, that is the number that relates to the Devil card. And that came out in, I think it was group number 1. It came out in group number 1's extended reading, and we were talking about limiting beliefs. So it could be that this person has potential for a lot of growth, but they might be facing limiting beliefs and insecurities that are even more difficult for them. With this be spontaneous, something that this person might be learning to do is to go after the opportunities that they want. Like to just go for it, to just do it. And that's kind of mirroring your energy. Both of you are learning how to take initiative, be assertive, go after what you want, make the first move. And with be spontaneous, this person maybe gets frozen in like calculating, like before they take an action, they want to calculate like the next 30 steps ahead and like worry about the long-term repercussions. And thinking about the future implications of your actions is a good thing, but overthinking about them can freeze you. And so you don't take any action at all. And I think that something that this person struggles with is taking leaps of faith. Like they might not take action unless they feel like 100% sure that they know what's going to happen. So they maybe have a wound around like trusting the universe or trusting life or like trusting their own gut instincts. I think this is a vulture. Vultures eat dead things. And so there is kind of a feeling of this person ruminating on things until they're dead. It's like, for example, when I was learning Japanese and I still couldn't really speak it, I would be hanging out in groups and everyone's speaking Japanese, and I would want to contribute to the conversation, but I was so scared about making a mistake, or like I was so concerned with like finding the perfect wording, and I didn't want to speak unless I knew that my sentence was like perfectly grammatically correct. And so I would sit there for several minutes, like thinking about the sentence I was going to say, and by the time I thought of it, they already changed the topic, and so I just ended up not saying anything. Or maybe an easier example of this is like when you have a crush on someone and you spend so long, should I tell them, should I not tell them, I don't know, how are they going to react, instead of just going for it, and you spend so long debating about it that by the time you work up the courage, like they're dating someone else, or the school year is over and you're never going to see them again, or something like that. And I feel like this person has missed out on opportunities in the past because they spent so long like humming and hawing about it, even though deep down they knew they wanted to do it and they wanted to go for it. They were like this vulture eating dead stuff. Like the time has passed and you're still like dwelling on this past thing. And so I think they have this wound to heal around like trusting the universe and just going for it. And maybe this is something that was appearing in your connection. Like they really wanted to offer you something. They really wanted to make a move towards you, but they just spent a million years debating about it and nothing happened. That's their wound. And I feel like you were healing something surrounding, like, I think being vulnerable and allowing yourself to be hopeful, to open up and to offer your heart to someone. And I feel like just reading these two energies, I feel like you were the one who was more actively facing your fear, whereas they had the potential to do so, but were not really moving. That's what it's looking like so far. So let's get into the tarot. And let's see more what's going on with this person. So now we're getting into, that's funny that the star card appeared because it's also Aquarius. So you or this person could have Aquarius placements. Aquarius season could be significant, which is like late January to late February. So yeah, we're getting into current energies now. So now that you have gone into the minimal to no contact situation, we are tapping into the energy of group number 3's person. What is going on for them right now? What is happening in their life? We have the 9 of Cups. I'm just gonna move these so everything fits nicely. Okay. How are they currently feeling about group number 3? And about the connection with them? We have Temperance. Okay. What would they say? Okay. What would they say to group number 3 if they were being completely honest and no filter? We have the 6 of Wands in reverse. And actually, I said that out of order, but we're gonna keep this as what they would say to you. It's just a different order than how I wrote it on my list, but that doesn't really matter. And why did they go no contact with you? The Page of Pentacles. It's funny, this card, like, I wasn't even shuffling. I just picked it up to shuffle and it slipped out. And I was vocalizing that question, what would they say to you? And it just slipped out. So I do feel like this is probably something that it's not a hypothetical of what they would say to you. They probably will say this to you pretty soon. And they might even be, like, just knowing what this card is, it sounds weird to say that they're eager to say it to you, but that's just how That's just how it's coming through. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So, okay, let's get into it. In terms of what is going on your person's end right now, we have the 9 of Cups, and this is translating as they're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good too. I think your guides want you to know that whatever you're going through in life right now, you are doing an amazing job. You are setting yourself up for long-term success, and you're also setting yourself up to be stable and secure. And that is both in the material sense. You're setting yourself up for like material and financial security, and also for emotional security. You are doing an amazing job at self-care and inner work right now. The lighting is quite washed out, eh? It's nighttime, and the lighting always looks weird at nighttime. Anyway, is that too dark? Let me guys know what you prefer, because I feel like when it's kind of shadowy like this, it's kind of like a vibe, but I know some people might prefer it's more bright because maybe you can see the cards better. Please do let me know. Anyway, the camera really wants to focus on this face, which is interesting. There's like a square around it. And I just saw 2222. So not only are you setting yourself up for material success right now, you're setting yourself up for having like stable emotions, mental and emotional well-being. You're killing the self-care game right now. That is what your spirit guides just want to jump in and say to you right now. And maybe you need to give yourself a little bit more credit. I also feel that this group, your spirit guides want you to know that you are about to hit a pretty important milestone in your life, especially like in your career, your studies, in a creative endeavor. And you are about to be in high demand. Like if you were looking for a job, it's like companies would be fighting over you. And you might even be in a situation where you're going back and forth between two companies, and you're like, actually, well, this job offered me this salary, and then the company comes back and they're like, we'll double it. Maybe that's a bit dramatic, but it's like you are being fought over. You are in high demand. You probably have some skills that is like quite rare, at least in your field or in your location, because you are like a, what is it, hot prize. That's not a that's not an expression. You know what I mean? You're a prize, you're a catch. Yeah. I don't know what that has to do with this reading, but I think your spirit guides just wanted you to know that. Give yourself more credit. You could also be traveling very soon. Some of you could be traveling business class quite soon. Anyway, so your person is doing pretty good too. If someone were to ask your person how they're doing right now, they would say like, I'm pretty good. I have no complaints. And I think that is actually how they're feeling. With the 9 of Cups here, they are quite content with how their life is right now. I think they're coasting. I feel like they're not at a stage in their life where they're really having any big breakthroughs, although the potential is there. And it's so interesting how, look at how similar this is. Like the exponentially growing, what is this called? Oh God, is this the golden ratio? I forget what it's called. And same, I mean, this isn't the golden ratio, but I feel like it's one of those images that is used to exemplify the golden ratio. But anyway, very similar images here. I feel like, okay, they're in their comfort zone right now, which is fine. Everyone has a comfort zone, and we're allowed to stay in it if we want to. That is our prerogative. But yeah, they're doing pretty good, and they're in their comfort zone, and they are coasting. There is a potential for like big growth and a breakthrough for them that is just on the horizon, but they don't seem to be moving towards it right now. It's like they're in their comfort zone and they're not really ready to leave it. In terms of how they feel about you and how they feel about the connection, we have Temperance here. And immediately when I saw this come out, I knew that this person was holding back, because like literally the meaning of this card is self-restraint, self-restraint, self-control, moderation. So it's quite likely that this person feels quite intensely towards you. And for whatever reason, they might deem that their feelings towards you are too strong. For whatever reason, they might say that it's not logical because they haven't known you for that long, or they might say like it's not reasonable for anyone to feel this strongly about another person. They've just kind of deemed that they shouldn't entertain these intense feelings. There could also be a part of them that has decided that they should be disciplined and focused on other things right now. So they might see in some way the connection with you or relationships in general as something that is kind of frivolous at this time. Like, let's assume this is a romantic relationship and they're telling themselves like, I don't have time for romance right now. Like, I should be focused on other things, which is just a story that they tell themselves, by the way. But it's kind of ironic because I'm like, and I don't mean to like call out this person or judge them or anything, but it's like, what are these other big important things that you're focused on? Because it seems like you're just coasting. It seems like you're just staying in your comfort zone. The vibe that this is giving me, it's like if someone was like had aspirations to start a business, which is awesome, but then they're saying like, well, I don't have time for romance because I'm focused on my business. And then it's like, oh, cool. Like, what have you done recently to work on your business? Crickets. Like, it's like, and I'm not judging, right? Because we all do it. We all say like, yeah, I did this for years with music. I'm like, yeah, I just really want to focus on my music. I just really want to take my music more seriously. But then if you actually look at what I'm doing with my life, I am in my damn comfort zone. I'm not working on shit. So I just feel like they're in this kind of energy where they've been talking about doing something for a long time and they're not really doing it. But like, bless them, because I think that the intention is there, but there's this weird thing where they're like depriving themselves of other joys, which it would make sense if you were sacrificing something for the worthy cause of putting effort into your passion or of working hard on something, but then like they're not doing it. And I also just kind of don't buy their story of like, the romance is frivolous, or the connection with you or relationships are frivolous because I have to be focused on bigger things. To me, it kind of feels like a cop-out. And that's where we get to this Six of Wands. This person does not feel good enough for you. This person feels 29 as I'm talking about this. I wonder if this person is going through a Saturn return or something. Or I'm just thinking about when you're 29, that's when you have your Saturn return. And it's also when you're almost entering a new decade of your life. This person doesn't feel good enough for you. Feels like you are out of their league. That's probably what they would say to you if they were being honest and no filter. And they probably have said that to you many times in different wording. Just the way this card slipped out, I feel like it's something that this person truly believes, that you are out of their league. And I feel like they let it slip. I feel like they let it slip in conversations with you. They might just make kind of like a self-deprecating joke or an offhanded comment about, oh, like you're so great, you're so much above me. And they are fishing for reassurance. I'm not gonna lie. It's like they're too proud to directly say to you, I feel like I'm not good enough for you, but they're not too proud to fish for your validation indirectly. So if they make these kind of self-deprecating jokes or comments around you, I do think they're expecting you to be like, oh, like, why are you saying that? Oh no, because like deep down they hope that you're not out of their league. They hope that they can disprove that limiting belief that they have because they want to be an equal to you, which probably they are, and they just don't realize it. But like they want to be on the level that they perceive you to be on, which they perceive to be above them. So, yeah, and I feel like I was talking about something else before I went on that tangent. Right. I can see how this is like a cycle that this person gets stuck in. I feel like the criteria that this person is using to determine that they are not good enough for you is very subjective and would feel random to the outsider. And okay, I'll use myself as a hypothetical example. Imagine there's someone like who wants to be with me or wants to be my friend, but they're like, but I don't know anything about tarot. Like, she's gonna think I'm so lame. And it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's a standard that you don't care about. That, like, for example, I can't be with group 3 because I haven't become a millionaire yet. And meanwhile, you don't care about being a millionaire. They're the one who cares. And they're projecting that onto you. And then using that as a reason that you are out of their league. When like, you never asked them to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing for them to have that goal. And that's amazing for them and we should support that. But it becomes a problem when they then project that onto other people. Because they're maybe dealing with this issue of like, I'm not worthy unless I reach this goal. And then when they project that onto other people, it becomes like, I'm not worthy of this person's attention unless I reach this goal. So I think that's something not great that they're doing. And incidentally, I also think that it's this very goal that they're not working towards. So in the millionaire example, it's like they're saying, I can't be with group number 3 because I'm not a millionaire yet, and so they're gonna think I'm a loser. And then they're also saying, I don't have time for relationships because I'm working on becoming a millionaire. But then they're not actually doing anything to become a millionaire, and it's like, it's a cycle that just keeps repeating. They're not doing anything to reach their goal, and then they keep using the fact that they haven't reached it's like self-sabotage. They keep using the fact that they haven't reached this goal to self-deprecate themselves. And maybe in a weird, twisted way, they are holding on to this incomplete goal so that, what? So that they don't have to face the real reason for low self-esteem, or they can hold on to it like so that people will reassure them. I don't know. For some weird reason, they might actually be holding on to not having achieved this goal. I guess, yeah, it's like, if you're like, I can't get into a relationship until I like reach this size, and then you never reach it, and so you never get into a relationship, and so you never have to put your heart on the line. So they might be holding on to this unrealized goal almost as like a protection, so that they never have to do something scary, which is put their heart on the line. Complicated. A complicated person. I hope that this is making sense. yeah, so they're in their comfort zone right now. And they're doing good, but they could be doing great. They could be doing great. And they deserve to do great. Yeah. And with Page of Pentacles here, yes, I do think this has to do with like what the value, their perceived value of what they could bring to the table for you is like not up to par. And I think with this being Pentacles, it probably does have to do with like material things, financial things, or like superficial, surface level things. Yeah. So that's what's going on with them. That was a mouthful, and I hope that made sense. And the camera is still focusing on this person who has a third eye. I wonder if they are going through a little bit of a spiritual awakening. I'm hearing slowly, very slowly they are. And you waking up could actually be helping them to wake up. You could be an example for them, almost like your awakeness is rubbing off on them or activating them in some way. But you're working towards your bright future. You're doing an amazing job. One piece of advice that I would give you is like, if you can sense, and you probably have, like if you can sense the insecurity coming from this person or their like feelings of intimidation, please do not make yourself smaller to make them more comfortable, because that's just like enabling their wounds, you know? It's just enabling what they have going on. And I think that when you're in your highest potential together, they will be able to like rise to the occasion of meeting you on your level, or not seeing your growth and your successes as like a threat to them or as a reason why they're not worthy. I think they need to realize that just because they may feel certain insecurities, it doesn't mean that you are thinking the same way about them. And it's this weird thing where they kind of project however they view themselves onto you and think like you must feel that way about them too. And I think part of their healing and part of their waking up is realizing that that's not true, and that how they've perceived themselves, it's just a story. It's just a story that they've told themselves and that they've perpetuated, and that they can choose to break, and they can choose to see their worth in this moment. They can choose to see their inherent worth in this moment, and they can step up to, and it's not even like about getting on your level or like getting up with you, but just rising up with you to be radically self-loving and to let their light shine and to not let their insecurities keep them away from you, which is who they really want. Yeah, so let's take a look at these oracle cards for some messages and guidance from your spirit guides. You can probably recognize this as the image that you guys picked in the intro. That's so cool. It's literally what we were saying with Be the Change. Be what you seek. Let your desires inspire you to transform, match the vibration of what you want. I think you've really got it figured out, that like, rather than feeling like you are attracting what you want from outside of you, you are like becoming what you want. And that's, I think, a lesson that your person is learning too. We have the wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. And we have humility. Allow me, divine, to always accept the right assistance. I welcome your help in every way and delight in receiving it. With these two cards together, all that's coming to my mind is like, there's knowledge, which is like, I know this and I know that. And then there's wisdom, which is realizing that you don't know most stuff. And that's also like humility. Like, humility is having the wisdom to be like, I don't know. And wisdom is having the humility to be like, I don't know. So there's a message in here about, I guess, embracing unknowns. And when you do that, when you accept that there's things in this situation that I don't know and that I can't control, as soon as you admit that, you allow the divine to come in and help you. And when you try to control everything, you're like blocking the divine, or just making it harder to recognize the divine's assistance. This could be a message for you, could definitely be a message for your person. I also love that there's an owl on the humility card, because owls represent wisdom, and this is talking about wisdom. I think your guides are really just praising you, because like they even interrupted the reading about this connection to just praise you, and which they are very welcome and allowed to do. I love it. I love when the guides jump out. And this is not even necessarily advice. I think this is something that you guys know and something that you guys have mastered, and that is beautiful, and that they want to give you props to. And you know, the wolf, I'm also thinking of a lone wolf, but I'm also thinking of leader of the pack. If you feel alone in your way of thinking or in your way of moving through life, you may be a trendsetter. And I think you're going to notice, I'm hearing like in coming years, you will notice more and more like-minded people popping up around you. You will find your pack. But it's really important to not, like, if you're spitting your spiritual truth and people don't understand it yet, keep spitting it. Like, don't dumb yourself down or change your truth so that everyone can understand. Like, they'll meet you when they're ready to understand. It's not your job to make everyone understand or to control others' awakening. Just keep going and keep staying true to your path. I see. So you are a catalyst for many people's awakening. But at the same time, remember that while yes, you are the catalyst, you are also just a vessel for the divine to work through you. And so it's not like you don't have to, wow, I don't know if that's a motorcycle or what, but it's really loud. You don't have to worry about like, oh no, I didn't get this person to wake up, and like keep forcing it. Like, that's not really your responsibility. Just keep speaking your truth and trust that when others are ready, or if it's even in their path to hear what you have to say, they will find you. Again, not sure what that has to do with this. There may be some times where you've tried to like, you know, like give this person a truth bomb, or like you've told them really insightful things, really heartfelt guidance, and it just kind of goes over their head, and that's okay. Maybe they'll hear it a few times before it sinks in, or they'll hear it somewhere else. But don't underestimate the impact, even if it doesn't seem like it got through to them in that moment. You have planted a seed, so don't get discouraged. Okay, so, oh my gosh, and still the camera's focusing on this. That's so funny. We're gonna move into the extended now, and we're going to ask your person's spirit guides what they have to say about this whole situation. We are gonna see, if you were to reach out to this person right now, how would they feel? How would they react? How would they respond? Would they respond? And if you didn't reach out to them, will they come forward and initiate contact with you? If yes, when will that be? If no, what is next for you? So if that sounds good to you and you would like to join me in the extended, I'm gonna have that link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're gonna leave the reading here, I wanna say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you are watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here. Group number 3, I am sending so much love to you, to your person, to your spirit guides, your higher selves, your spiritual teams, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!